So I was on Twitter last night, and I was scrolling through my timeline when I saw that Harblu had made a tweet, and he was referencing a pending Roadhog nerf to Roadhog's right click. Now, when I saw this, I was actually very shocked because I've always felt like Roadhog is in not a very good spot right now. So to hear that Blizzard planned on nerfing him seemed kind of ridiculous to me. I mean, that's just my opinion, but he's just not that good right now. He's viable, but he's not great. And then the more I looked into it, I saw that Blizzard's reasoning for this was that his right click, in their eyes, was supposed to have damage drop off from the very start. But there was a bug that made it so there was no damage drop off on his right click. Now, whether that is the case or not, it just seems a little bit ridiculous that Blizzard is so stubborn in their own mental process and just their vision for the game and game balance that they actually don't value what actually is taking place in the game, and they value their idea more than they value what is actually happening during the match. And it's something I wanted to make a video about. It's something I want to talk about. So let's get into it. Now, depending on how long you guys have been watching me, you guys probably know that I've always openly criticized Blizzard, and more specifically criticized them in terms of the changes that they continue to make ever since Season 1 in terms of balancing. Certain heroes and certain abilities, it just seems like they actually never have their thumb on the pulse of what matchmaking actually feels like and what it actually feels like to play against certain heroes. And one thing that they always seem to neglect is how fun a hero is. You know, how fun is the game itself. You know, they have all these balances and they make all these changes all the time, but sometimes it just feels like they value their personal ideas for the game. It feels like they have like this really stubborn attitude where if they have an idea of how something should be and how it should look, they value that more than actually what is. You know, we saw this with when Brig was first released, or even when Ironclad Bastion was a thing. You know, it just seemed kind of ridiculous that a hero like Bastion in his Ironclad form with all that damage resistance could possibly make it to a live server, but what do you know, it actually did make it. And then we also saw the same thing with Brig, and when she came out, she was so broken, she was so overpowered, her ultimate was just ridiculous. Now, I do know that balancing a game, especially a game like Overwatch, when they're trying to find a balance between high mobility heroes and static heroes and, you know, DPS heroes, healers, off tanks, main tanks, it's really, really hard to put all of these heroes together and just form one cohesive gaming experience. It's really hard to do. There's just so many variables. And now this brings us to the latest Roadhog change. Now, according to Blizzard, this nerf is happening to his right click in regards to his damage fall off. In fact, according to them, there was supposed to be damage fall off on Roadhog's right click ever since the new Roadhog came out. And apparently this even goes back as far as like since the game released. He was always supposed to have damage fall off. Now, I think that it's ridiculous for a couple of reasons. Number one, if it really did take them this long to figure out that there was a bug on Roadhog's alternate fire, excuse my language, what the fuck are they doing over there at Blizzard, man? I just don't understand. How can it take you 2.5 years? Like, I know there's not a lot of heroes in this game, right? And I know that some heroes require more focus and attention than other ones, but it just seems to me, as a game developer, absolutely ridiculous that there can be a bug in a game regarding something like this for 2.5 years, 2 years ever since Roadhog came out, and they left it like this for this long. Either they didn't know about the bug, or they decided to just ignore the bug. Now, there's a couple reasons why this could be possible. Now, if they did honestly just realize that this bug was in the game now, that's fine, but with me, and that's not where the issue is, really. I think that the issue lies in the fact that they want to change Roadhog for no other reason than that he's not in the current state that they intended him to be. And it's such a very minute detail that is preventing him from being what they see perfect in their eyes that it's not really worth changing, in my opinion. You know, if they're not happy where Roadhog is, where is Roadhog? Like, let's answer that question. If you're not happy where Roadhog is right now, where is he? I'll tell you where he is. He's in the dumps because he has limited viability and he's not that good of a hero at the moment. Now, if a hero has limited viability, is not overpowered, or frustrating to play against, why do they feel the need to change him? This is just another example of Blizzard changing things for no other reasons than their own stubborn attitude towards game balance. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Blizzard in Overwatch, their balance team, they're very, very stubborn. And when they make mistakes and they make heroes OP or underpowered, I don't know if it's their ego or what, but it seems to take them forever, and they never admit that they made a mistake ever. It's almost like everything they do is perfect and it can never be questioned. And I know that you're probably thinking to yourself right now, like, hey, Bor, you're kind of overreacted. You know, it's just Roadhog's right click. But it's not really about Roadhog's right click. It's just about their whole philosophy in general. And this Roadhog change is just another symptom of this mentality that they have. Now, I'm not a game developer, and I've never tried to balance a game. But I can guarantee you one thing. If I was, my approach to game balance, like philosophically, would be nothing like Blizzard's. I would balance the game in regards and based off of what the game feels like, what state it's in, and what does it feel like to play a hero in the current meta. And I've said this before, I don't think anyone at Blizzard actually plays Overwatch. Because if they did, they would know that nerfing Roadhog right now is ridiculous. Unless, of course, maybe this Roadhog change is actually them just laying the groundwork and setting him up for a bigger buff in the future, you know? Maybe Blizzard didn't discover this bug until now, which is still laughable because it's been like how many years and they still haven't discovered it. But that's not the point. Maybe Blizzard has a complete, maybe not rework, but a hog buff, a hog change on the horizon. And this change to his right click is just setting him up for that, you know? Maybe they're going to make him weaker now because they're going to tweak something else. And if they left his right click the same, that would break him. So they're going to make his right click weaker or change something about his right click maybe. But it's not working in the state it is now, and it doesn't work in cohesion with the buff that they have planned. Now, I don't have any sources for this. This is just a theory of mine. But unfortunately, it's the only way that me as an outsider can justify or rationalize Blizzard's decision to change Roadhog. It's just speculation at this point. I don't mean to be a conspiracy theorist or anything. But if a Roadhog buff does get announced in the upcoming months or weeks, just want you guys to know, you heard it here first. And I know it's not like some crazy insightful thing I'm saying. And I know that I'm using logic to justify this decision, which kind of contradicts everything that Blizzard does, Omega Lol. Okay, jokes aside, I do think it would be cool if Roadhog did receive a small tweak to his kit. I don't know. I always felt like they should have just buffed the damage that his hook did, just to give him a little bit more consistency in one-shotting certain heroes, you know? I know that he used to be able to one-shot heroes in the past, but now it seems like you just have to get lucky to do that. I think if they just increase the hook damage by just a very, very small amount, it could go a really long way in how viable he is, because, there's kind of two heroes in this game in terms of DPS and damage and everything. And I know Roadhog kind of fits kind of a gray area, like he's not really a tank, he's not really a DPS, he's kind of unique in that sense. But I do believe that his kit fundamentally is designed to be really bursty in combination with his hook. I mean, the cooldown without his hook, he's pretty useless. Basically, all he does without his hook, if he's not hooking things, is fee ultimate charge and go for lucky right clicks, which don't land very consistently at all. Another reason why it's ridiculous how they're changing it. But that point aside, I still believe that if Roadhog, like fundamentally as a hero, if he has a place in this game, it will be more towards the burst damage side of the spectrum as opposed to like utility sustained team player. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being a team oriented based hero, but I think Roadhog's kit fundamentally with the self-sustain, the hook, the pick potential, he's kind of like a hero that in my eyes, I felt like he was put in the game as kind of like a solo carry hero, where like, which fits the latter perfectly if you ask me, because how many games do you play in Overwatch where your team's not really coordinating, and back in the day you used to be able to just pull out Roadhog and you didn't need comms, you didn't need synergy, you could just pop off. I think that a hero like that should have a place in Overwatch because it makes the gameplay experience more enjoyable. But like I said, maybe Roadhog is getting a buff in the future that we don't know about. But stay tuned, and thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you guys here again soon. I'm going to be making more videos.